Could world hunger be solved if the 1% just gave up all their money?
If you can just speak into the voice decoder and say, I'm not giving anything to the hungry kids.
I'm not giving anything to the hungry kids. Hungry kids, hungry kids, hungry kids.
Okay, that's got it.
Let's find out. This video was made possible by my patrons. Just Another ANCAP, Scorch88, and all other patrons at the additional tiers. Thank you so much to all of you. Hello everyone, this is My Two Cents. A while back, Thought Slime made a video in which he critiques what he calls capitalist entitlement. Postal Cat and Hoploo already made a great full-length response video, which I will link below. But I'd like to make this video addressing a specific claim that Thought Slime makes. Specifically, that if Jeff Bezos, or anyone else of the 1%, just donated their vast wealth, world hunger would be ended.
At the time of this recording, Jeff Boss Baby Bezos has a net worth of about 115 billion US dollars. Enough money that if it were put to judicious use, it could end world hunger for about 3.5 years. 1 in 9 people in the world are undernourished right now. And they could eat healthily for almost 4 years on the money that one man personally owns. Think about how absurd that is. Really noodle it over. Every hungry person in the world fed for years from the wealth hoarded by just one man.
Now, this is something that leftists say quite frequently, but it shows that they haven't thought very hard about what it would really take to solve world hunger. Do you really think it's as simple as throwing money at it? First, let's consider what would happen if we simply dumped a load of cash into a poor third world nation where many people struggled with poverty. Would this help the situation? Of course not. The cash itself isn't going to help them. In principle, the people could use it to buy food provided they could exchange it into their own currency, but if they are having problems with starvation, you first need to ask why they are having problems with starvation. Can crops grow in the region? Or are weather and soil conditions preventing effective farming? Perhaps crops can grow, but constant warfare in the region has left many fields burned and food confiscated by warlords. Or maybe in an effort to centrally plan the economy, government redistribution of food has disincentivized farmers to work, and so they are producing less than they would under free market conditions. These are all questions that need to be answered before any kind of effort to help the poor in a country can begin. So, if simply dumping piles of cash into third world nations won't solve starvation, what will? I suppose we could give them actual food, but this also creates its own set of problems. Assuming that the reason there is not enough food in a given nation is because the nation cannot grow enough of its own food on its own land, the food we'd bring there would have to be grown somewhere else. However, that requires people to do the farming and the harvesting. But once the food is harvested, it has to be transported. And of course, during the course of the transportation, it also needs to be refrigerated, or whatever other methods may be necessary to ensure that the food does not spoil before it reaches the people that need it. Additionally, even third world nations often have detailed regulations regarding who they will allow to bring food into their country and how, which means that charities that seek to bring aid to foreign countries also require legal teams to work out these matters. Customs inspections can be long and costly, and charities that deliver aid will also likely require their own security personnel. This is all time and labor that needs to be accounted for. But we're not done yet. Even if we get the food to the people who are starving, the question now arises, will they be able to eat it? The organization Feed My Starving Children, an international charity that works to bring food to malnourished children in third world nations, actually manufactures special meals that they refer to as manna. Why do they do this? Because they discovered that many malnourished children will simply vomit up the food that is brought to them, or that diarrhea will prevent them from digesting it properly. Many starving people are so malnourished that without special meals developed by food scientists, receiving regular food would be of no help to them anyways. Incidentally, if you are passionate about ending world hunger, I highly recommend donating to or working with an organization like Feed My Starving Children. This is a group of people committed to working through all the problems we've discussed so far. However, there is one more point I'd like to make. In Feed My Starving Children's own charter, they note that the ultimate goal of their work is to help impoverished people develop sustainability, not simply to provide them food. It is wonderful when a starving child can receive a meal thanks to the hard work of others. However, as the old saying goes, give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. No real impact will last unless the poor in these countries are given the opportunity to learn to provide for themselves. Comprehensive research has already shown that Africa is capable of producing enough food to feed its own population. Author Stephen Hayes reports, "This does suggest is that Africa currently produces more than enough to feed itself, yet many countries are net importers of food when years ago most were net exporters. However, the ability to trade regionally and move food across borders is severely limited by the lack of infrastructure as well as by the political difficulty of cross-border trade. The research also more than suggests that post-harvest losses are significant, and that Africa lacks infrastructure for adequate storage and refrigeration necessary to get food beyond the land upon which it is gone." The bottom line is that solving world hunger is just not as simple as throwing money at it. In fact, the thing most likely to put an end to starvation is to reduce war and economic restrictions in the areas most affected. Then let the market do what it does best: bring people out of poverty. And on a final note, for everyone out there yelling that Jeff Bezos ought to give all of his money to end world hunger, let me ask, how much of your own money or time have you donated supporting groups like Feed My Starving Children? Leftists are always willing to spend other people's money on noble causes, but why not their own? And that is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe. You can also hit the bell to ensure you're notified every time I upload a new video. This video was made possible by my patrons. If anyone else would like to donate and help ensure that I have the time and resources to keep putting out content, for just $1 a month on Patreon or Maker Support, you'll have your name listed in the end credits of every video and the link to one of your social media platforms listed in the description. You can also support the channel by purchasing my 2 cents merchandise on Teespring. You can also follow me on Twitter, Minds.com, BitChute, WordPress, Gab, and iTunes. Uploads are every Thursday and Saturday, so stay tuned for more videos.